Okay, Ainsley. So we've been discussing kind of some situations that are happening in your life right now, where you're really struggling to think those situations through clearly. So as I've mentioned before, I'm a CBT therapist. So I specialize in linking the behavior, thought, and emotion together, and kind of understanding why we behave in that way, following through our thoughts. So, as I mentioned before, I thought maybe a thought record would be a good activity for us to do through our session. So, what I want today is we're going to work through one of the situations we were talking about earlier using the thought record, and we'll do that together. And then I'm going to give you some to go home, and you can do some of these throughout the week for homework until we meet for our next session. Sound good? Okay. So first we're going to look at our situation or trigger. So we were discussing kind of issues with your boyfriend. Do you want to give me a specific situation that you have encountered lately that's kind of triggered some unnatural thoughts for you?
Okay, well, sometimes I start thinking about things a lot, and when he's not giving me attention, like if I'm all by myself and he's not talking to me, I start feeling like he doesn't love me anymore and that our relationship is going to end really quickly.
Okay. So this is when you're by yourself.
Yes. It never happens when I'm with other people. It's just when I'm by myself, and that's usually when I'm at home.
Okay. And you feel like he doesn't love you when he's not giving you that kind of undivided attention.
Yeah, I feel like when he's not talking to me, it's just like it's because he doesn't love me anymore. He just decided that he's no longer wants to be in our relationship.
Okay. Perfect. So that's a good situation to really look at. And you've really answered the kind of the 5 W's, kind of what, who, when, where, and how. So now we're going to look at those feelings that kind of come on when you have that trigger. So when this happens, when you're at home by yourself and you're kind of feeling unloved by your significant other, what feelings do you have, kind of?
Well, I'm usually really sad.
Okay.
I guess I'm afraid that my thoughts are real. Like, I'm afraid that the relationship is going to end and that he doesn't love me. I feel, I guess, like it's my fault and that I'm why he doesn't love me anymore because I am unlovable.
Okay. So you really feel like these are realistic feelings for you. You really feel like you are unlovable when he's not giving you that kind of attention.
And when I feel this way, I start almost panicking, and I get like a really fast heart rate, and I almost shake a little bit, and it's just like I can't control what I'm feeling. I don't have any control over my thoughts or how my body's responding to them.
Okay, so those are some good physical reactions to that. And how intense would you say those feelings are? Your body shaking, you feel your heart racing, your breathing is heavier. Kind of give me a number, a percentage, 0 being, it's not really intense, to 100% being very intense.
Well, compared to other situations, I feel like it would probably be like an 80 or 90%.
Okay. So that's fairly high for you then, that this is, this really takes over your behaviors and your thoughts, really, once this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. And you've already told me kind of some physical. Where do you feel those kind of physical reactions that are happening?
Well, in my heart.
Your heart?
My
Okay.
heart is just, I can't control how fast it's going. It feels like it's almost going to like beat out of my chest.
Okay.
And I also I have this like sick feeling in my stomach as well.
Okay. So those are good. Those are really good descriptions of how you're kind of feeling. and to go along with that, the physical reactions that you're seeing. Next, we're really going to move on to your thoughts, okay? So we've really covered the situation, the behavior, really, and then you've moved on to your feelings in the next category, what you're kind of feeling, and you've actually even given me more behaviors that your body is doing, whether it is automatic or not. And now we're going to look at those thoughts, so those unhelpful thoughts. So what goes through your mind when you're sitting alone and you're feeling unloved because your boyfriend is not giving you that undivided attention?
I feel like it's gonna be like previous situations where I've been dating other guys and then they break up with me. I feel like because it's happened before, that he's gonna break up with me just like they did.
Okay, good. And what are these thoughts or these images? What do they mean to you? What do they say to you? What kind of pops out when you're sitting there and you hear that? Oh, I remember when Carlos broke up with me because I'm unlovable. What does that mean to you?
It almost makes me feel like I have no purpose, like I have no use, that everything falls apart because of who I am.
Okay. So you really think that this situation is really about you? You're really the reason why this situation kind of goes on?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's definitely how I feel.
Good.
And I feel just like I haven't been able to be loved in the past, so I'm not going to be able to be loved now.
Okay. So do you kind of see that those thoughts kind of happen without anything, your boyfriend didn't say, Ainsley, I don't love you, or you're unlovable, or anything like that. So those kind of automatically pop into your head. Do you kind of see that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that you've never really had that interaction with him to kind of give you that indication that those thoughts are true, that is the reality of things.
Yeah, because it's not like he's talking to me and telling me that he no longer loves me or anything. I
Right.
have no reason to think that.
Right.
I don't know what he's thinking, so I guess I kind of come up with what I think he's thinking.
Right. Good. So that's a good connection that we've just made, and that's really called an automatic thought. So in CBT, we believe that automatic thoughts stem from behaviors, and they don't necessarily have to be true. So I feel like you are having quite a bit of these automatic thoughts, and I'm glad that we're working through them with this activity, and I think this will really help with your automatic thoughts that you have in your situations of anxiety, like this one that we're working through right now.
Okay.
Good. So next we're going to move on to the facts that support the unhelpful thought. So what what evidence or facts come out of this situation? What's true? What really supports that you are unlovable in this situation?
Well, it's happened before. That's a big one.
Okay, so previous experiences.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's not talking to me or paying attention to me or anything. So, like, I feel like if he didn't love me, he wouldn't want anything to do with me.
Okay.
I feel like I guess now that I think about it, there aren't a lot of facts that support the unhelpful thought.
Good. I'm glad you've just made this observation. So see how this really lays it out for you in front of you, so you can really take time to look at just what's going on, and you kind of see clearly from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very, very happy that you've made that observation. I'm very impressed. So we'll continue through this, and next we're going to look at the facts that provide evidence against the unhelpful thoughts. So what kind of sheds some, this isn't true on this?
Well, now that you put it that way, I guess he's working, and while he's at work, he's not actually supposed to be talking to me. He's supposed to be doing his job.
Right, and he has a very laborious job, you've told me, so
Yeah.
he's going to be busy, so he's not going to be able to have his phone in his hands all the time. So that's a very good evidence point.
And, like, before he leaves for work, he always tells me that he loves me.
Okay, good.
And I guess in between when he's working and when he's home, he could be out hunting with his friends, which I've never been hunting, but I guess like you wouldn't really talk to people while you're hunting.
That's
you have
right.
to be quiet.
And that's a big hobby you've told me of his, right?
Yeah.
So he really enjoys that. So, you know, he's spending time with his boys out in the, you know, fields. Good. Anything else?
Well, he does a lot of driving for his work as well.
Okay.
Like he might have to drive far to go work.
Okay.
So it's illegal to text and drive.
That's right. Texting and driving, not okay.
So I guess there's a lot of situations where he can't talk to me.
Good. So are you finding this helpful so far to really lay out kind of the whole
Yeah.
situation?
I feel almost relieved.
Good.
It's just a different way of looking at it.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. Okay, so 2 more columns. So now let's look at an alternative, a more realistic and balanced perspective of things, okay? So let's take a deep breath. Let's breathe in and breathe out. And let's look at the bigger picture of things. What's really going on here? Is there another way of seeing this situation?
Yeah. There definitely is. Like the column before, he might just, he's at work, so he can't, he should be focusing his attention on working and making money and doing his job well than paying attention to me.
Right.
It's kind of unrealistic to spend all of your attention just on one person or object or something.
Good. Now, let's kind of take a different spin on things. If you had, you know, your best friend, Sally, she came in and she told you this exact situation and what she was going through, what kind of advice would you give her? What would you suggest? What's a good way to find out kind of your solution here?
I would probably tell her that she's overreacting.
Okay.
And that there's a lot of reasons that he might not be talking to you.
Good. That's good.
Maybe
So-
I would probably tell her that she should talk to him and ask him to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because communication is key, right, in these relationships?
Yeah.
Good. Very good. Now, looking at this column and over, do you feel like your reaction at the beginning here, thinking, you know, I'm unloved, I shouldn't be in this relationship because I'm unlovable and it's my fault, do you find that realistic now? Do you find that that is proportioned to the situation?
No. Like when you're feeling it and it's happening, it feels very real.
Definitely.
But when you break it down like this, it doesn't seem very important.
Good.
It seems almost silly.
Good. That's good. Okay, so we're going to move on to the last column.
Okay.
And that's the outcome column. So this is where I want you to really look at kind of what you could do differently.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of see what would be more effective for your relationship and for yourself, right? Your anxiety is very important to you in dealing with that. So I want you to kind of think about what would be most effective. How would you relieve that anxiety with your boyfriend to kind of figure out what you want to know in this situation?
I feel like filling out one of these sheets and like taking a step back and looking at how I feel versus what I think.
Right?
Because I might feel like, oh, the relationship is definitely over, and then when I break it down and I think about it, I'm like, no, he has to drive for 3 hours.
Right.
Obviously, he's not talking to me because of that.
Good.
I feel like this sheet would really help me.
Good. I'm really glad that you're enjoying this. So if we say, let's take the thought record, if we work out the thought record, what do you think the consequences will be if you're having a situation, you sit down, you do this? What do you think the consequence, the outcome, what's the outcome going to be for you?
I think I'll be happier, and I won't panic as much, and it'll probably make my relationship healthier with my boyfriend.
Good. Okay. And lastly, I just really want you to re-rate your emotions. So over here, you gave me an 80 to a 90%. How do you feel about this situation coming out?
I would say 20%.
A 20? Good. Good. So that's a really big decrease. That's awesome. So now using this sheet, you can kind of see where we take the behaviors and we connect the feelings to the behaviors and then your thoughts. So it's a three-way system and it really interacts. So I think this sheet is the most helpful to kind of sit down, get you to really look at the situation, kind of what automatic thoughts you are having. And now that you know what automatic thoughts are, you can identify them, which is good. And you can also rate your feelings so that you know there is a difference and you are coming out with the better outcome.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yeah.
Good. I'm really glad.
Thank you very much.
No problem. I'm going to give you a couple extra sheets just to work on in between our sessions, okay, to help with any anxiety, anything that you might be dealing with, and we'll look at it next session, okay?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley.